Your Arlington Renegades are the 2023 XFL World Champions, baby. Let's get into it.
Let's go.
Yeah. So, XFL Championship game took place in San Antonio, Texas this past weekend. I was there live. As you see, I got my official merch here. I got my official XFL Championship Arlington Renegades right here, May 13th, 2023. Got the XFL hat turned backwards right now. Official gear that I got directly from the field and from the stadium. But let's get into the game. Actually, before we get into the game, let me just say this. Shout out to the XFL. Shout out to DANY, GARCIA. Shout out to DWAYNE Johnson and company for completing a successful season here of the XFL this season. It was a great year. It was a fun year all the way around. I mean, it was good football. A lot of players are getting called up and getting tryouts thanks to this league coming back. So, I mean, it was just great. It's just great to see that it all accumulated to this championship game, and it was a good game. The underdog came out and just did work on the best team in the XFL. This team, DC, went 10-1 this season. And then if you count the playoff game, it's 11-1. So DC has clearly been the best team all season. And the underdog Renegades, who went 4-6 in the year, and if you want to add the playoff game, they went 5-6 in the year, end up taking them out. And they dominated from start to finish of the game. As you see here, getting it started, Sal Canella caught a 41-yard pass from Luis Perez in the first quarter with 11 minutes left to go in the first quarter, and they missed the two-point conversion, but they scored early. Defense came out. Defense of the Renegades has been great all year. It's always been an offensive problem when it comes with the Renegades. As you see, the failed two-point conversion right there, but they came right back. Tyler Vaughn got a 9-yard touchdown pass from Luis Perez as well. And then Davion Smith converted a two-point conversion. So already in the first quarter, it's 14-0. Arlington Renegades up 14-0 over the DC defenders. Defense steady balling. They playing with the lead now. They pinning their ears back. They're getting to the quarterback. It was crazy. You see crazy throws and catches like this right here from Luis Perez and Tyler Vaughn. Those guys seem to have a great connection since the day that Luis Perez got traded here from Vegas. Those guys instantly clicked. It was something about those two that they like each other because they instantly clicked. And I mean, it's just crazy to see. Once again, I was there live. Shout out to the crowd. Shout out to the crowd. XFL fans. They put over 22,000 people in the Alamo Dome. Shout out to them. That's a success right there. And the DC fans, I want to shout you guys out personally because coming from Arlington, it's 4 hours from us, from the DFW area. It's like four and a half hours for us. Coming from DC, that's some traveling. And the DC fans showed up and they did a good job. They were loud. It was a lot of red in the stadium. It was a lot of red in the stadium. So I got to give props to DC as well. They fans, man. Some of the best fans, if not the best fan base in the XFL, and they showed up all the way to San Antonio and did their thing. But going back to the game, second quarter started off with a 14-point lead for the Renegades. Then you got a field goal, 29-yard field goal converted by TR for the Renegades with 4:54 left. So now it's 17-0. Abram Smith, who we didn't even see, we didn't even realize he was on the field because he was getting shut down by the Renegades defense. 32 seconds left in the second quarter. Abram Smith got a 2-yard touchdown run to make it 17-6. Two-point conversion failed, of course. And then 2 seconds left. The Renegades got right back in field goal position. Got another field goal from Taylor, a 51-yard field goal. So now you're sitting at a 20-6 Arlington Renegades lead in the first half, right? So at this point, I'm personally walking around the stadium. My lady is sitting on the other side of the stadium across from the press box. So I'm walking over there. I'm talking to fans, seeing how they are enjoying the game. I meant to record it and do like I did my last YouTube video, but I just didn't. I was just so happy, walking and talking to people, and everybody was enjoying. There was a lot of Brahmas fans there. Now, let me talk about you Brahmas fans, because you guys came out, and I thought you would cheer for the Texas team, right? Brahmas fans were like, oh, no, we cheering for DC. I was like, what you mean? You supposed to cheer for the Texas team, right? He was like, oh, no, we in the same division. We hate y'all. I was like, oh, man. So it was a couple of Brahmas fans. It was a lot of Brahmas fans there, too, that was just there to see the championship game and they experienced the atmosphere of the championship game. And they was there to see Arlington lose. They didn't want to cheer for Arlington, so I was like, oh, man, they did us dirty right there. But shout out to the Brahmas fans that showed up. Let's get to the third quarter. DC came out hot. And it got a little scary for the Arlington fans. DC came out, Abram Smith, showing you why he was the best running back in the XFL all season. 52-yard run, touchdown run, 2-point conversion, failed. So now it's 20-12 with 11:42 left in the third quarter. 4:44 left in the third quarter. You had Lady Brown get a 7-yard touchdown run, which was big. He ran over a couple of defenders to get up in there to make it 26-12. And then you had Josh Hammond. They came right back at us. They came right back at Arlington. Josh Hammond got a 72-yard touchdown pass from the XFL Offensive Player of the Year, Jordan Tiamu. So they made it 26-20 Arlington. And then right after that, so let's explain how this happened so quickly. Right after that, DC kicks the ball off, and it was an illegal kick. It didn't make it to the 20-yard line. So what that did was that gave Arlington Renegades the ball at the DC's 30. And just like that, in one play, they went 30 yards for a touchdown pass to Lady Brown. That made it 32-20 to end the third quarter. So now DC comes out hot. They come out strong. Look at all that red in the stadium. I mean, look, the atmosphere was great. I can't say it enough. That was one of my best all-time experiences, being there and seeing that atmosphere for an XFL championship game. That was great. But the defenders, man, they came out hot, put up a quick 14, and it got a little nervous. You're like, this is the best team in the league the whole year. So now you gotta really stick in now, Arlington. Don't slip up, because DC is not the team you want to do that on. But the defense overall just made plays. Luis Perez just kept making plays. It was crazy. You get the fourth quarter, and the fourth quarter was pretty much all defense. Renegades got another field goal to make it 35-20 with 9:56 left. Look at destroying out there. And then you had Josh Hammond got a 24-yard touchdown pass to make it 35-26 with 1:17 left. Right? So they go for the onside kick, which is a 4th and 15 in the XFL. They did not convert, and that was it. Arlington ran out the game, and there you go. You got new champions, baby.
Let's go.
I can't believe it. The Arlington Renegades in one season came to the DFW area and brought the DFW area their first pro football championship since 1995. Since 1995. Dallas-Fort Worth area has not had a championship football team since 1995 when the Cowboys won their last Super Bowl. Arlington Renegades came down here in one season. It looked bad because, again, they were 4-6. It didn't look good at all. But they came down here and they got the job done. Dallas-Fort Worth now has a championship team. You see I'm wearing the merch right here. They have a championship team, ladies and gentlemen. So support your XFL, support your Renegades until the Cowboys win the championship. You got, the Renegades number one team in my opinion. That's all I'm gonna say. They the number one team in my opinion, because they came down here and got a championship instantly, even when everybody counted them out, including myself. I counted them out against Houston after week 10. They put up 9 points, even though I know Coach Stoops told us in the press conference that they set Davion Smith. They didn't show everybody. They didn't show all the plays because they knew they was playing Houston next week. It just looked bad. It looked bad. And then they went to Houston and I picked them to lose. They dominated Houston. Then they came and matched up with DC, and I said, no way in hell they're going to beat DC. DC has been the number one team all year. Even though they did go to overtime with DC in DC 3 weeks prior. So I'm like, they might be able to do something to keep it close, but at the end, DC was going to win. That's how I felt when I got there. That's how I felt even after the 14-0 start. I felt like DC was going to come back and Arlington was going to blow it, but it didn't happen. Defense showed why they are leading the league in takeovers, getting picks. I mean, they got 3 picks on Tiamu. That's the offensive player of the league. They got 3 picks on him. Reggie Barlow, coach of the year for the XFL, really got outcoached by Bob Stoops and his staff. Like, they outplayed him, they outcoached him. It was just something to see. It was something to see, and it was crazy. If you're an XFL Arlington Renegades fan, that was beauty. That was the best game of the season, and it was the best time for them to play their best game in the championship game. That was crazy, man. That was absolutely crazy. But getting into the stats, Jordan Tiamu, once again, offensive player of the year for the XFL. He went 16 of 30. Defense was all over this guy. 245 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he had 3 interceptions. Abram Smith, outside of that 52-yard run, you would have never paid attention to him. He ended up with 90 yards and 2 touchdowns thanks to that 52-yard run. But outside that 52-yard run, he was held in check. He was held in check. And he got that little 3-yard touchdown at the end of the first half, but he was held in check. But, hey, 90 yards for him. Abram Smith should be called up to somebody's training camp. He has to get an invite. He has to. This guy has been great all season. Another guy who I think should be invited to NFL training camp is Davion Smith. 54 yards, 15 carries. He just runs hard. He just runs hard and tough. He's the guy that you put in for goal line. He's the Zeke. Let's say that. He's the Zeke of the Arlington Renegades. If you want somebody that's going to block for the quarterback, get you those physical runs, and just carry the team when needed, that's Davion Smith of the Renegades. Luis Perez, MVP, ladies and gentlemen. Luis Perez, XFL champion. Look at that. He threw the ball at him. XFL championship MVP, 26-36, 288, 3 touchdowns, no interception. Larry Brown came in 9 carries, 32 yards, 1 touchdown on the ground. He also had 1 touchdown in the air. As you see, Lady Brown right here just going crazy. Tyler Vaughn had his best game of the season. 8 receptions, 83 yards, 1 touchdown. Sal Cannella, 4 catches, 71 yards, 1 touchdown. Josh Hammond for DC went off. I got to give him that. He went off. 6 catches, 127 yards, 2 touchdowns for DC. So shout out to Josh Hammond going off, having a good game. But the offense of the Renegades, they spread it around. Everybody got multiple touches. Lady Brown, 2 catches. Sal Cannella, 4 catches. Tyler Vaughn, 8 catches. Brandon had 4 catches. Javante Payton had 2 catches. Caleb Van Der Esch had 3 catches. Winningham had 2 catches. Victor Bolden had 1 catch. And Davion Smith is your running back. Everybody on the Renegades offense touched the ball. They literally spread it around. It was crazy to see, man. Like, trust me, if you haven't kept up with the Renegades or the XFL, they were frustrating to watch. They were frustrating to watch. They had 2 other quarterbacks, Drew Plick and Kyle Anderson, come in. And, they went back and forth on who's starting between those 2. It just wasn't good. They traded for Luis Perez from the Vegas Vipers. And, he comes in mid-season, and they instantly put him in. But he still got to learn the players and the plays. So it was a little struggle from there. You could tell he was better, but it was still a struggle. And then playoff time, they just turned it up. They just got it together. Luis told me after week 10 when they lost to Houston, he told me that it's on us. He said the plays that they're sending in, they're good plays. We're just not executing. And, I kind of took it with a grain of salt. I was like, yeah, all right. I still think it's play calling too. That's what I said. But Luis looked me dead in my eye and told me, no, we have a good team. We have a good roster. You're just not seeing it because we're not executing. And he said once we execute, it's going to be a different story. He told me that. At week 10 press conference, he told me that. Looked me dead in my eye and told me that. And they came out the next week, dominated Houston. And he said, we'll be fine. Luis said, we'll be fine. That's exactly what he said. Then you see what they did to DC. So shout out to the Renegades, man. Shout out to the Renegades. Shout out to the XFL. Shout out to Dwayne Johnson, Danny Garcia, to the XFL fans. I'm happy to see the players. It's a lot of players that's getting tryouts and invites. It's a lot of players getting minicamp invites. I think it's over 60. I believe last time I checked, there was over 63 players that got invited to a minicamp. So shout out to those players. 4 players have been signed. 4 players already received contracts. So shout as of this morning. I don't know if it's an update since I've went live or since I started recording, but last I checked, 4 players already have contracts. So shout out to those 4 players. And that's a good and bad thing, you know, because I want to see the XFL continue to succeed and continue to get better. And I feel like the more people that actually stay, the better. You know, I want these guys to, you know, their ultimate goal is to make the league. So I want that for them, right? But at the same time, let's see if Arlington can run it back with that same team that they had. Let's see if we can get dynasties and franchises and all these, you know, just build the XFL up to when somebody say XFL, you know, oh, this is the face, this is a big name, he's here. Instead of having to, you know, have to learn new players every season. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good and bad thing. Personally, I'm happy for him. Congrats, do your thing. I hope you all make the league. But if not, come back to the XFL and just keep building that league and make your name there. Because the more you build the XFL, the more money the XFL is going to make, which means the more money that you guys are going to get as well. So I just want to see the XFL grow into a bigger league and get even bigger and bigger. They put over 22,000 the first XFL championship game. Next year, I want to see 30,000. I want to see 35,000 at the next championship game. Like some of these players that's making picks and all that. Like I really want the whole Arlington Renegades defense to come back. I can't lie to you. I'm being real selfish here by saying that, but that's just true. That's what I want. I want the whole defense to come back. I want Payne and all of them back. Like for real. This is what I want to see. But I understand that the goal is to make the league, and you know, making the league is a good thing. When you see a lot of people get invited up, you see a lot of people get contracts and things like that. It's just great to see for the league. It makes the league look even better, and it makes more players want to come to the XFL versus all these other leagues who like to talk trash about the XFL. I'm not going to call any names, but it's leagues out here that's talking trash. There's other spring leagues that's talking trash and been taking shots at the XFL all year for whatever reason. And the XFL came out and was a success, not only in ratings, but crowd attendance, players getting invited to mini camps, and etc. It was a success, and it's only going to get better as we move on. So once again, shout out to the Renegades, shout out to the XFL. Champions, baby. Champions. Who would have thought Arlington Renegades 4-6 would have been champions? And I've been sitting here wearing this shirt that I got directly from the field as we were celebrating the championship with the confetti falling all over our heads and etc. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. But they did it. They did it. I'm happy for them. Again, I can't get over the atmosphere. I wasn't expecting that many people to show up, especially like the DC fans. And they showed up. They showed up. They really showed up. So, I mean, shout out to them. Much love to everybody that's watching here on dopecontent.com and YouTube, because I am now putting these website exclusives. I am now putting them up on YouTube as well now. So you might have seen some old ones from previous weeks pop up randomly. That's because I started releasing them on YouTube as well. These were dope content exclusives, but I felt like it's just better off to keep them on the website and YouTube. So shout out to y'all, man, that support the brand. Shout out to the XFL once again. I mean, I just appreciate the opportunity. They XFL call themselves the League of Opportunity, and that's true. That's true. That's the first league that I've been able to, you know, get credentials with since starting my company, Dope Content, and we're doing sports and entertainment. This was the first league I've applied to, and they approved me to allow me to grow my resume with them. And now I'm moving on to the WNBA, Dallas Wings, and etc. And I've been trying with the Rangers. They still playing hardball with me right now. I don't like some of the excuses that the Rangers media team has been giving me, but we'll say that for another story. We're here to be happy and talk about XFL and the Renegades, right? And I can't wait to work with them next season. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. This man, I'm just like at a loss for words. If you would have been there to see the atmosphere, or if you watch it on TV, I'm sure it came out loud on TV as well. That atmosphere was great, man. That atmosphere was real great. It was great. Media from all over the world was in the press box. The fans were just going crazy. It was good food everywhere. The Alamo Dome doesn't owe me anything. Like, they don't owe me anything at all. That was my first time in the Alamo Dome. It doesn't owe me anything at all. I did have a little minor issue, though. I did have a minor issue with getting in. So when you check my website, normally I love to do my pregame pictures and take photos of pregame of like different helmets and the players warming up, and then I go back at halftime and after the game and get some more pictures after walking around the stadium, right? I don't have pregame pictures this time. The reason I don't have pregame pictures this time for the championship game is because I got approved to get out there, right? But I don't know if they forgot to write my name down on the list, but it was an issue. My name wasn't there when I got there. When I actually got there, they saw the email and everything, but they were like, well, we don't have your name here. Bruh. So I spent like 40 minutes just waiting to get my pass. So during that 40 minutes of time, that was my time I was supposed to be on the field taking my pictures and walking around, right? I didn't get to do it. So anybody that's looking for pregame photos on the website, I'm sorry I didn't get them. I'm sorry. We got the situation handled. Like, at first I couldn't even park, bro. I couldn't even park. Like, the lady was giving me attitude. She like, yeah, we know we see your credentials, because I had all my other credentials from the XFL hanging up in my mirror. So she see that. She like, yeah, I see that, but you're not on the list. So if you're going to come here, you're going to have to pay. I was like, what you mean pay? I don't ever pay to park. I'm media. No, you're going to have to pay if you want to park here today. Like, she had an attitude with me. So I'm like, whatever. It's a championship game, whatever. I just want to get in the building. I paid her a lot of money, by the way, to park. It was stupid. The same price as tickets. What the hell wrong with y'all? So I pay, and then I get in. They say, oh, we see the email, but we don't have your name on the list. So now they emailing people. I'm emailing people. They calling people. I'm calling people. Yeah, about 40 minutes go by. And by the time I got my pass, it was time for the game to start. So I just hurry up and ran up there and got to the press box for the start of the game. But yeah, outside of that, Alamo Dome and San Antonio don't owe me nothing. Weather was kind of bad, that weekend, Friday and whatnot. But by the time the game started and everything cleared out. It was perfect weather. They could have played it outside if they wanted to. So perfect weather in San Antonio. The Alamo Dome is a beautiful place. It's an older place, but it's still a beautiful place. That was my first time inside the Alamo Dome. So once again, shout out to the XFL. Thank you so much. Thank you to DWAYNE Johnson, DANY GARCIA, Matt Millie. I don't want to say his name wrong. Is it Million? I don't want to say his name wrong. I'm sorry, Matt. I'm trying to remember the spelling of your last name. I can't remember if it was Million or something. It was something like that. But shout out to Matt. Matt know who I'm talking about. Shout out to Matt for allowing me to work with you guys this season. Once again, I can't wait for next season. It's going to be great. And until next time, man, tune in to dopecontent.com. Y'all have a great day, a great week. If you're not subscribed to the website, dopecontent.com, go to the homepage, dopecontent.com, scroll to the bottom, type in your email. It's free. And you subscribe just like that. And you stay up to date with everything Dope Content. This summer's about to be lit. I got 2 more weeks of work and I'm done with work. So this summer's going to be focused on building Dope Content even more. So, yeah, you might want to stay tuned. We got a lot of things coming up. Music fans, sports fans, WNBA fans. I mean, stay tuned. We got a lot coming up. So shout out to y'all, man. Y'all be safe. Next time, I'm out.
Let's go.
Hey.